Hi, greetings from here. My name is Ijoma Mbama. So from the last video I made, somebody dropped a comment asking, how do you know you have a spiritual call? Now that's an interesting question. I believe that, perhaps a lot of people might want to ask. So that's the reason I'm making this video. Now, how do you know that you have a spiritual call? I like to state that one unique thing about people with spiritual calls is that they have spiritual gifts. Yes. Now, some people may have spiritual gifts, but may not exactly have a spiritual call, right? But they have the spiritual gifts, for other reasons. And but then, if you have a spiritual call, you must have spiritual gifts because these gifts would help you carry out your task here on earth. There are gifts of prophecy, those who see vision, um, what's the other one? Gifts of healing. And there's so many gifts anyway, right? Um, they have different names. I don't want to run through all of that, but just give you some examples. Now, sometimes as well, you're being told by maybe a spiritual person, somebody who is a spiritualist or who is a man of God or woman of God, for whatever term that is easier for you to understand. So sometimes you're being told by people like that. Sometimes you're also being told by some people around you who are spiritually sensitive. I mean, things could happen. You could do certain things or something could happen around you. And then they'd be like, Shay, say you get spiritual call. Shay, that kind of thing. Sure, sometimes as well, growing up, you probably just have, maybe men of God who come to your house, who visit your family, and they keep telling you the same thing. A lot of people were religious before they started, before they got into spiritual awakening and began to figure out their own path by themselves. Now, before all of that experience, you could have also been in church before, and then, your pastor calls you out and makes it clear to you that you have a special pact with God. You have this spiritual call, right? They might have also told you. Sometimes you also just get to hear directly from maybe your guidance spirits. Oh yes, they let you know. They talk to you in your dreams and they let you know who you are. They begin to show you who you are. In your dreams, you see yourself doing certain things. And then in your waking life, it comes naturally to you. You're easily drawn to people, especially people who need healing, right? People who are hurt, wounded people. They are easily drawn to you. Even when you are dating broken people that need your energy to heal. And in a lot of cases, once they heal, once they become better and stronger, they leave you alone and move on with their lives. And then you get attracted to the next person who needs healing. And you find yourself naturally, doing that work of trying to help people and all, but really don't be careful how you do that, right? So that you don't end up wasting yourself, while trying to give your energy to everybody who seems to need it. You cannot give your energy to everybody, but you should give your energy to people that you are called to. And well, that's an issue for another day. But I hope I've been able to answer your question of how you know that you have a spiritual call. You can either know for yourself, your spirit guides tell you, or you begin to see that in your dreams where you're doing certain things that that is who you are, or some other person who is already doing God's work can tell you. Yes, they also can tell you, and usually when they tell you, you can relate to it. It will never sound completely strange to you. You'd have had the signs. You would have, you have an idea, but you probably were not just connected, or you were not able to understand what you were seeing and what you were feeling and why you were having certain experiences. So when they tell you, it seems more like a confirmation and not exactly an information, right? Because you already know, deep down within, you already know. You've seen something before, you've heard something before, you've known something before, you just never really understood it. So I hope I've been able to answer your question of how you know that you have a spiritual call.